If you know me or you've been around this channel for a while, you would definitely know that I enjoy card games. I don't really play that much card games to be honest, because of a problem called monetary issue. Classic, right? Currently, I play Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, and Shadowverse. That's it. Oh, I do have all of the regular Right Kami cards and all of the Rider cards, but that's not exactly a card game. Thinking back, when I was an actual child, I've already been playing card games. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Master, albeit not exactly knowing the rules and what the card actually does, to be fair. However, what I did really enjoy and understand is arcade card games. To be specific, I played Dino Duel when I was in elementary school. So much that I have all the cards, literally, both from the first version and the Master's version. A lot of you might have not heard of Dino Duel before because I believe it is exclusive to Australia and Southeast Asia. But basically, it's quite similar to things like Mushi King and Dinosaur King, which was popular in Japan. I didn't play those two games because my local arcade didn't have the machine. But hey, at least I played the Nintendo DS version of Dinosaur King and watched the anime. I also played Mushi King in the Yakuza game. Well, kinda. It's not exactly Mushi King, so yeah. One very popular game which I also didn't play is, if it's not obvious enough, Animal Kaiser. Animal Kaiser was so popular back then, but I've never played it because, well, I got internet in my home and I just played online games instead. Still, I do know a tiny bit about Animal Kaiser because I did have some notebooks with Animal Kaiser cards as its cover. I believe I had the narwhal one. What's interesting for me is the fact that they have some trivia in the cards. But yeah, aside from that, I didn't really know anything about Animal Kaiser. Wait, actually, back in 2021, towards the end of the COVID era, I went to an arcade and they got Animal Kaiser machine. So I tried it out. However, I didn't get any cards. They ran out of cards or something like that. So the machines did not dispense anything, which is a bummer. And then, fast forward to this day, I suddenly thought, hey, I kinda wanna check Animal Kaiser cards. Good news is, they have all the cards on their website, so I could just check it out. So, for this video, I want to check out the cards from version 1, review the trivia on the card, and maybe give some remarks, who knows. Just to clarify, I wouldn't review how good the card is gameplay wise because, well, like I said, I've basically never played the game. Alright, first card, Lion, King of Animals, Panther Leo. Fiercely protecting its pride and kin, the lion rules over the savannah. Okay, so, personally, I don't like assigning kingship to lion because, well, it's animal. They don't exactly rule over the other species that live in the savannah, you know. But hey, at least they do say savannah, not jungle, so that's kinda fine. Oh, and yes, the main role of males is to protect their pride. Meanwhile, females hunt for food, aka the huntress. Anyway, length 8 feet. Wait, that's around 240 centimeter, I think. I guess it's correct if you count from the tip of their head to the tip of their tail. Weight, is this pound? Okay, it is pound. That's about 240 kilograms. That sounds like a slightly overweight lion, even if it's a really big and strong male. I don't think 240 kg is reasonable, but it's not that outrageous I suppose. Food, zebras, impalas, edge. I see. I didn't expect them to write specific animals, but that's kinda cool. Oh, and I think this Ken is Kenya. Apologize if I'm wrong. Kenya does have lions, but they are not limited to Kenya though, so I'm wondering why Kenya specifically. Does it have something to do with the gameplay? Let me know if it is. Anyway, yeah, I guess this thing on the bottom right is the rock paper scissors thing like the other arcade card games. And yeah, that's it. I would rate this card a good out of 10. Next card, Great White Shark, Emperor of the Sea, Carcharodon carcharias. Oh, by the way, I just realized they write it the correct way. The scientific name I mean. I appreciate that. I say that because I've seen a lot of media write scientific name like, I'll just write it on the screen during editing. Both epithets starting with capital letter. So yeah, this is nice. Anyway, again, I don't like assigning kingship to animals. Well, this one is Emperor though. Does that mean there are many kings of the seas? Anyway, the most dangerous shark, the great white, is known to attack humans and boats. Oh. That description is dangerous. It could potentially spread bad reputation because, well, great whites are unlike those that are depicted in Jaws. The Jaws movie, I mean. The description is technically true. There are records of great whites attacking humans and boats, but it's not an all-out attack to destroy you. It's like when your cat bites you when you annoy them. Unfortunately, unlike cats, great whites are big and strong, so it can be fatal. Still, they don't attack humans without reason, and they don't just go to nearby beaches to lunge at humans chilling on the beach. Anyway, 27 feet, that's like around 800 centimeters, I think? 820 maybe? 810? And 4,000 pounds is around 1.8 ton maybe. That is a gigantic great white. Great whites are mostly half that size, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken in the measurement conversion, but yeah. Great Britain. Huh. That's a weird assignment. Are there even any great whites in the Great Britain? That's like too far north for great white, I think. That's kinda weird. Well, to be fair, I'm not sure about the meaning of this flag, but yeah, in this video, I'll point it out if this doesn't match their distribution anyway. I'll rate this card questionable out of 10. Next, Bald Eagle, Lord of the Skies, Haliaeetus leucocephalus. Same comment about the title. The American national animal. The proud bald eagle sports a sharp beak and talons. USA. Oh yeah, brother. Length 3 feet, that's like 90 centimeter, a little bit less. Sounds about right. And 13 pounds is around 6 kilogram, I think. That's a big bird, but I believe it is indeed inside the recorded range. So this is good. Food, birds, fish, etc. So, fish is indeed the majority of bald eagle's diet. Next is bird, and then small mammals, I believe. I wonder why birds is listed first, but it's no big deal. All in all, I think there's not much things to say about this since the card itself does not provide that much information, in my opinion at least. So I'll rate this USA out of 10. Next, oh, the layout is quite different. Am I looking at a different version maybe? Oh, this is maybe just the super rare, and the previous 3 are ultra rare, perhaps? The gold ones? Anyway, polar bear, white beast of the north, Thalarctos maritimus. That's an interesting choice. Thalarctos maritimus was used by some zoologists in the past, but the usual scientific name is Ursus maritimus. Not a big deal though. This is a 2007 game after all. North Pole. Okay, so this is supposed to be their distribution then, where they live. So it's not about some in-game theme or something. The largest land carnivore hunts its game in the harshest conditions on Earth. Harshest condition is relative. I would argue the abyssal zone is harsher. But, you know, it is not that harsh for abyssal creature. The North Pole is also not that harsh for polar bears, so yeah. Oh, by the way, just a random trivia. If you are often confused about whether polar bear exists in the North Pole or the South Pole, or whether it's called Arctic or Antarctic, just remember the fact that Arctos or Arctus is the Latin word for bear. The name doesn't come from the fact that polar bear lives there though. It's because the north is indicated by the Ursa constellation. But coincidentally, it is an easy way to remember, at least for me. Anyway, length 11 feet. Huh. That's a really long polar bear. Doesn't seem right. Especially with this weight. Because this weight is within the average range of male polar bear, I believe. But this length is too long for its weight. And food. I wonder why birds are listed first. Seal should be the main prey, unless this is all just alphabetically sorted. All in all, I'll rate this card okay out of 10. Card number 5, Hammerhead Shark, the watery assassin. Why is it an assassin? Svirna Luwini. Oh, that's nice. So, there are many Hammerhead Sharks. Svirna Luwini is the... Wait, I think it's Caleb Hammerhead Shark. One of the easiest way to identify this species is by looking at the tip of their head. The middle part of their quote-unquote hammer has a notch like this. So yeah, this is a nice illustration. The hammerhead uses its distinctly shaped head like fins to steer itself. That's a very outdated information. The head is shaped like that to enhance vision and helps in electroreception by having more ampullae of Lorenzini. Okay, but why Philippine though? I mean, sure, they exist in the Philippines, but don't Philippines have a better animal representation? Like the Philippine sailfin lizard, for example, or maybe Crocodilus mindorensis, for example? But it is what it is, I guess. The size is okay. I would believe it if you told me they could reach this length, but this weight is... I don't know, man. Isn't that like 1.5 tons almost? I wouldn't believe that. Nothing weird about the food though. So I'll rate this card a very nice illustration. Out of 10. Card number 6, Andean Cobra, Fangs of Death. I'm realizing the fact that these titles have been so edgy. Anyway, Naja Naja. That is indeed the correct species. And of course, it's from India. The cobra expands the wide eye-like pattern on its back to intimidate enemies. Okay, so what's quite unfortunate is the fact that the card itself does not depict the eye-like pattern on its back. I'll most likely just add a picture during editing to show you. Another thing is, using the term enemy is quite something if we're talking about animal. But of course, this is a game, so yeah. Wait, why is this in metric? And I feel like this is slightly shorter than it should be, but way heavier, which is kinda weird. I wonder why they are so off with this data. I'll rate this one chonky out of 10. Number 7, Leo the Lion Cub. Hero, so I guess this is just a special character in the game. Leo out of 10. Number 8, Blue the Young Shark. Oh, I guess this is the young version of the golden cards. So there is one for the eagle too then. Blue out of 10. Number 9, yeah, Icarus the young eagle. Icarus out of 10. Okay, card number 10, we're back to the usual animal. Grey wolf, Canis lupus lupus. That's kinda funny because of dog. The woodland tracker. This one is surprisingly not that edgy. Its name as Master of the Forest has earned it a place in many folk and fairy tales. Okay, any German watching this video? Are grey wolves commonly named as Master of the Forest? Because I've never heard of that title before. This measurement sounds fitting for a big and strong alpha male, I suppose. Shouldn't be that common though. Foot, moose, musk oxen, etc. Being this specific is kinda funny, but yeah. I'll rate this one Canine X-Force Liberation out of 10. Anyway, number 11, Giant Panda, Ailuropoda melanoleuca, the cuddly vegetarian. That's one of the title of all time. It's good at climbing trees but not at coming down again. It sleeps 16 hours per day. I feel like this trivia is well known by now because there's a lot of videos about Giant Panda, whether it's long form or short, still a nice one though. This data also seems reasonable. Food, bamboo shoots and leaves. Yeah? All of these informations are solid. Actually, what language is this attack names? Is this like a combination of English and Japanese? Anyway, I'll rate this one a nice out of 10. Number 12, Nile Crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, Lurking Jaws. Actually, did you know that the Nile Crocodile was split into 2 different species? The other one is Crocodilus succus. So yeah. Anyway, this crocodile bites down on its prey, dragging it into the depths where it then kills it. Calling it depths is kind of funny, but I guess Nile River can reach 10 meters, so you could argue that's a, well, depth, I guess. Anyway, There are multiple ways of how crocodiles kill their prey. They can simply crunch the prey to death, death rolling, or just dragging the prey into the water and drowning them. This description makes it feel more ominous. But yeah, Egypt flag is fine. But Nile crocodiles are actually more abundant towards the southern Africa, not the absolute south though. This data seems believable, but definitely not the average individual. This is perhaps towards the absolute maximum size they can grow to. Food? Well, listing animal is quite something to say the least. All of these are animals, So yeah, I'll rate this quite something out of 10. Number 13. Is this image a foil card or something? Anyway, Cheetah, Achinonyx jubatus, world's fastest runner. The cheetah can run as fast as 68 miles per hour, 110 kilometers per hour. Once spotted, no prey can escape. Oof, that is absolutely wrong. Many preys do escape. Anyway, Kenya, That's a lot of Kenya. Maybe, I think this is the second one, right? Why don't they give it to another African country, I wonder? Anyway, 5 feet counting the tail seems reasonable. The weight is... I guess this is also a max-sized individual. The only problem I have with this card is how it says no prey can escape, and it's a big problem for me. So I'll give the rating of speed is not everything out of 10. Number 14. Leopard, Panthera pardus, the Savannah fighter. This is not always the case because leopard also exists outside the savannah. Their distribution reached Southeast Asia after all, but I guess the one from Senegal is indeed a savannah fighter? Leopard is not exactly a fighter, but whatever. A good climber, the leopard brings its prey up into the trees to avoid enemies. That is true. But still, I don't like using the term enemy like I said earlier. 6 feet and 189 pounds. That's a heavy leopard. I guess this leopard could be a fighter with that much weight. I'll give this an OK out of 10. Number 15. Black Panther, Panthera pardus. So, actually, Black Panther can be any melanistic individual of either jaguar or leopard. This one is a melanistic leopard. Oh, it does say in the description. This panther is a mutated leopard. A close look reveals similar spots. So, if you didn't know, leopard have no dot inside its ocelli pattern, while jaguar have a dot inside the ocelli pattern. That's the easiest way to tell them apart, for me at least. And this flag is Ethiopia, I guess. The data is the exact same with the leopard. This one has more HP though. Oh, wait, this one is heavy, while the leopard is multi. I have no idea what it means. Do enlighten me if you played the game. I'll rate this card a nice out of 10. Number 16. Snow Leopard, Panthera uncia. By the way, don't mistake this with Panthera onca because that is jaguar. Why is it a magician? Anyway, it ambushes its prey by waiting for it on high ground and then quickly pouncing down. Sounds about right. And this is Bhutan, I believe, right? The length seems within the user range. It's very heavy though. Perhaps a well-nourished male could reach 75 kilograms, but I'm not sure because it's not that easy to find prey in their habitat. Overall, I'll also give this one a nice out of 10. Number 17. African Wild Dog, Lycaon pictus, Assassin of the Plains. Calling them assassin is kind of funny because African wild dogs are very vocal. They are noisy, definitely not something that is to be associated with assassin, in my opinion at least. But anyway, this colorful wolf species lives in packs and assists each other during hunts. Okay, so writing wolf species is definitely one of the decisions of all time. Like, try reading this description without context. Just read this description without looking at the text, without looking at the name, without looking at the image. Would you even think of African wild dog? Because this description fits regular wolves too. Anyway, Kenya again. Alright, this is like the third Kenya, I think. It's fine though. This data is reasonable. Same with the food. Because of the written trivia, I'll rate this card questionable out of 10. Number 18. Side-striped Jackal, Canis adustus. That's the old scientific name. Now it is moved to its own genus, Lupulella, with the revised scientific name being Lupulella adusta. Apparition of the wing is quite something to say the least. Ethiopia. Okay, I feel like if you want to do an animal representation of Ethiopia, you could just use Ethiopian wolf instead. But anyway, at the age of 1, this jackal already helps its mother raise her newly born babies. That is true for some African caniforms, including the African wild dogs, by the way. It is called alloparenting, specifically cooperative breeding. You know what? I'm probably gonna make a video about it for this weekend. Anyway, this data is quite reasonable. Actually, this would be a stocky individual, same with the African wild dog earlier. Oh, the food section specifies that they are omnivore. Meanwhile, the African wild dog doesn't because African wild dogs are hypercarnivores, meaning they mostly eat meat. So yeah, I rate this card nice out of 10. Number 19. Asiatic Black Bear. Oh, this is my favorite extant animal. And yes, deer is not my favorite extant animal, but don't tell the other, okay? Ursus tibetanus, the moon bear. Wild Samurai is a questionable title though. Japan flag. Okay, that's fair, I guess. It is quite widely distributed in the mainland Asia though, but it's fine. If you encounter one of these, slowly walk away. They'll chase you if you run. Having survival tips for the trivia is kinda funny, but appreciated I guess. This data is within the average size. Food, nuts. Nice. These attack names are quite something though. Gexin Iwaotoshi basically means violent rock throw or something like that. Zangeki Yamaarashi means slashing mountain storm. And Gekko Haganeisen means Gekko is moonlight. Moonlight steel slash or something like that, I guess. Isen means flash, but is also used for a quick attack. I rate this card Subarashi out of 10. Number 20. Brown Bear, Ursus arctos, Lord of the Woods, Russia. Because of course, right? This large bear is a strong fighter with long claws and hardened muscles. I feel like that applies to most bear. So yeah, same comment with the African wild dog one. This data is... This would be a relatively long brown bear yet not that heavy. This bear should probably eat more to gain more weight. You know, to pack more punch. Food, nuts. Nice. I'll rate this one slightly above the African wild dog, so it'll be fine out of 10. Number 21. Indian Gavial. That's an interesting choice of word because the usual common name is Gavial or Garial. I personally use Gavial though. Gavial is Gangeticus, the smooth killer. Why is it smooth? They are definitely rough. Anyway, India of course, and this sleek croc lives in the Ganges River. Its mouth is slender and its teeth are spiky. Indeed, this is a really big Gavial though. Definitely rare for them to reach this size, I think. And the main diet would be fish of course. I'll rate this one a good out of 10. Number 22. Sawshark, Pristiophorus curatus, Carpenter of the Sea. That is also one of the title of all time. Pristiophorus curatus is indeed endemic to the southern Australia, so a nice choice of animal. This shark uses its saw-like head to dig in the sand for shellfish to eat. That is indeed true. Very nice, very nice. 6 feet feels too big, but I'm not exactly sure. The weight is within the average range though. And yes, they mainly eat small crustaceans. I'll rate this one a nice out of 10. 23. Goblin Shark, Mitskudina austini. Fun fact, It was named this way because Austin is the name of the shipmaster who found this fish in Japan's water, and then he gave it to Professor Mitsukuri, and then Professor Mitsukuri brought it to the author. Hence, both of them are honored as the species name. Deep Sea Bully is a weird title though. Why is it a bully? Japan flag is fitting because that's where it was found, even though they can be found in other seas, but it's fine I suppose. This shark is an unusual fish that lives at least 4,000 feet below the sea. That's an okay trivia. I mean, I guess that would be cool for the general public, but there are tons of animals that live at least 4,000 feet below the sea, so this description is very generic for those who know. Anyway, the length is fine, but the weight is too heavy I believe. Their main diet should be fish, but hey, they do eat crustaceans so it's fine. Fish is also listed anyway. I rate this card an OK out of 10. 24. Smalltooth Sawfish. Prestige Zisron. The Savage Carpenter. Quite something I guess. Indonesia flag. That's quite interesting because, well, there are many other animals that is more fitting to represent Indonesia in my opinion. Komodo dragon would be a good example. But anyway, the sawfish has a saw-like head with gills that it uses to explore seabeds for food. That's basically the same description as the Sawshark one, but with less context. By the way, sawfish and sawshark are two different groups of animals. Sawsharks are sharks, while sawfishes are rays. You could see the fact that their gill slits are under their body, not on the side, just like other rays. I feel like that size is reasonable. Probably almost the maximum size recorded, but that weight seems too heavy, I think. Fish is indeed their main diet, but I feel like they should also ride shrimps and crabs like the one in Sawshark. Oh wait, I just realized they have better stats compared to the previous two. Why is that? Anyway, I'll rate this card an OK out of 10. 25. Peregrine Falcon. Falco peregrinus. World's fastest wings. Fitting. As fastest creature in the world, this falcon can swoop down on prey at 186 miles per hour, 300 kilometers per hour. That is indeed true. However, I would like to clarify that this is the swooping speed, the diving speed. The regular horizontal flying speed is actually not the fastest. The regular swift even could fly faster than them. So yeah, this one is a big peregrine falcon, but not too far off from the usual range. And yeah, their main diet is actually birds, including duck of course. Alright, Japan flag. That's quite interesting considering peregrine falcon can be found in a lot of places. They are migratory after all. But yeah, they can indeed be found in Japan, so sure. I'll rate this card let's rate it good out of 10. Number 26. Great Horned Owl. Bubo virginianus. The Midnight Sniper. Why is it a sniper though? Does it shoot feathers in the game or something? Anyway, USA flag is fitting because they can mostly be found in North America, but their distribution do reach South America. But it's fine. These owl's eyes are 100 times more sensitive than that of a human and can see at night. I feel like that's too generic. I personally would write the function of their horn-like feather instead, but it's fine I guess. This size is almost the maximum size I believe, so it is still reasonable. The food is also fine. I'll rate this card a fine out of 10. 27. Andean Condor. Vultur gryphus. Protector of the Aztecs. Wait, why is it Mexico? There's no Andean Condor in Mexico. They live around the Andes Mountains after all. That's weird. The strong muscles and bones of the condor allow it to fly as high as 18,000 feet. That's not exactly correct. Andean condors are soarer. They don't flap their wings to fly higher. They utilize the updrafts. So yeah, this description is misleading. Anyway, the length is within the recorded range, but the weight is a little bit too heavy I think. And yes, they are indeed scavengers. I'll rate this card a questionable out of 10. 28. Rattlesnake, Crotalus adamanteus. That's the Eastern Diamondback. The death knell. Sure, this one is endemic to the southeastern US, so USA flag is obvious. This snake makes noises with its tail, made of layers of molted skin, to scare foes. That is correct. I simply don't like the usage of foes, but it's whatever. This measurement is very reasonable. I would say it's actually quite light for an individual of this size. The food is also fine, so I'll rate this card a good out of 10. Maybe a nice out of 10 even. Loss, number 29, Coral Snake, Micrurus fulvius tenere. Wait, Micrurus fulvius is American coral snake. I'm not sure about the specific subspecies, so let me check for a little bit. Okay, so this is the Texas coral snake. Alright. Fang beauty. Sure. Wait, why is it Ecuador flag though? They don't live in Ecuador. Ecuador coral snake is a different species. Anyway, the colorful skin of this poisonous snake serves as a warning sign for enemy. That is correct, but it could be more complex than that. I talk about it in my mimicry video, the Amslean part. Anyway, another thing to point out is them saying this snake is poisonous. Actually, is that even true? I'm not exactly sure. I don't think so. Unless they mean venomous, then yeah, they are indeed venomous. Poisonous and venomous are used for different contexts. Poisonous animals are those that are harmful when you digest them, which is why I don't think coral snake is poisonous. But maybe they just mean venomous. So, should use the correct terms, I guess. This length is fine, but that's too heavy, right? This is 10 pounds, right? Not 1.0? Yeah, that's too heavy, I think. The food is fine. All in all, I'll rate this one a questionable out of 10. And yeah, that's all the animal cards from version 1. The Japanese version at least. If I have to pick one, my favorite would be the Sawshark. Oh, and also, I realized the narwhal that I knew is not here, eh? I wonder which version it's in. Actually, before ending this video, let me skim the other types of cards too, just to see how it is. Okay, so I checked the strong cards and miracle cards and I was like, what am I even looking at? Especially the miracle cards. The strong cards also have some interesting illustration to say the least, like this manta ray reading a book underwater or this crocodile eating fruits. But yeah, that was fun. I'll definitely do this again for the next version soon enough. For now, that's it for this video. If you are new here, maybe check out my channel to see if something piqued your interest. Don't forget to rest your eyes and stay hydrated, and as always, enjoy your day.